So thank you so much, Grace Ofure, the host of today. I can but thank you for the wonderful job you have been doing, the impact you've had in several people's lives, even in my life, more than you can even imagine. You've actually made me more fearless. I'm somebody who walks behind the doors. I'm a very operational person. I don't come to the forefront. The only thing you can see is maybe my pictures. But on a normal day, just leave me at the back and I'll be okay, as long as I'm making the billions. So, Grace, thank you for having me. And for those who don't know me, I don't know if they are projecting, I will just use my slides here. I'm Omon Odike. I'm a lawyer by profession, the CEO of Connect Human Resources Limited, a service company. So that's something people should take in note of. You can actually make so much money even in service. You don't all have to be in oil and gas, or I'm not saying in real estate, but you know what I mean. You can actually sell service and make a lot of money. I'm the host. Recently, I became the host of Omon's Couch. Omon's Couch is a talk show to empower women in business as well as women who are growing their careers. And I'm sure you can see the link over here. I don't know, okay, yes. Omon's Couch. Please, before I finish my presentation today, make sure you follow me on my Instagram page, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you start watching the videos because it would actually help you. Information is knowledge, knowledge is power, and you cannot do anything without information. Right now, what I see a lot in business and even in your careers is actually women networking. It's a very big aspect of growth. It's a very big aspect of growing your business. And I want to ask you here today, as you've been here, have you guys spoken to each other? Have you spoken to the person beside you on your right and your left? Did you do that exercise already? Oh, so then that means I wouldn't bother doing that. So I move on to the next slide. So who is a limitless woman? Let me define the word limitless first. Limitless means without end, limits, or boundary. I am an embodiment of a limitless woman. I'm an embodiment of grace. I'm an embodiment of a woman who wants more. And for me to be able to do justice to this topic, I will use my own life story. And please indulge me, I won't take too long. I started my career about maybe 2010 or something. Started as a lawyer, practice at the law firm, one in Port Harcourt, moved to Lagos with my husband. When when your husbands move, you move with them. Even if you have a career, you just have to pack your load and move. Started with another law firm, was practicing law, and I was doing it very well. My dream was actually to be a judge. And I thought that was what I was going to be eventually. But I also had this inborn thing about marketing. I'm one person that believes that there's nothing I cannot sell. I'm one person that believes that anything I touch must turn to gold. So that's the mindset, and I've always had it. And it didn't start as an old person. I'm almost 50, so mind you. But I actually started having this mindset as early as a 10-year-old. I always believed that I could sell something. So when I was working in the law firm, I was doing well. My bosses liked me. But I actually spoke to them. I said, as anybody who is a lawyer here will understand, law means you're going to court or you're doing solicitor's work. You keep just doing the briefs, you're doing the briefs. But I told them that I wanted to do something more. And they said, what? I said, I wanted to sell. They said, but it's only the partners and the top senior associate that actually sell. I said, I like it. I just want to sell. And I sold. I was able to bring in mobile, producing. They had pursued that account for 10 good years. I brought Mobile and Zenith Bank for the law firm, and they couldn't believe it, within a period of about 6 months. And after that, I resigned. And the law firm was like, why? My bosses were chasing me all over the place, like, why do you want to resign? I said, I was burnt out. Because when you work so hard, I was doing like 5 portfolios in the company, aside from doing my law. And I was doing sales, I was hosting their events. It was just too much. And I was having children back to back. And I'm sure a lot of you can resonate with that. And you feel that if you're having children, you can't really move forward. It's always keeping you back and all that. I have 4 kids. 2 are in university, 2 are in secondary school. One about to go into, the third about to go to university. So I have big kids. But back then, they were really small. And I was just having them back to back. And now the second one, my body couldn't take it anymore. I had to resign. I didn't resign because of any problem. I resigned because I was tired. And my husband was also telling me, oh, Mo, you can do this kind of business for yourself. You don't have to work for somebody. I think he had a good reason for that. But I also thought he felt that I was working too much. The children would maybe be suffering because I was working till like 10 p.m. almost every day, coming back, driving back. By the time I get home, it's 12. I have small kids in the house. It was really crazy. But I took a decision and I stood by it. But guess what? After resigning, I was like, what am I doing? What have I done to myself? I was so depressed. If that's the word for it now. I was like, what am I doing? Why did I resign? I was being, at least, guess what? I started earning 75,000. My highest, when I brought those briefs, they now increased my salary to 110. And that was the highest salary I ever received. And I was so grateful. So I was happy that they even gave me an opportunity. And I think that's one thing a lot of women are. We are very happy and grateful whenever we're given opportunities. But the men actually take it. They take those opportunities, but we are always grateful. And I think it's a mindset, I don't know whether it's a bad or a good one, but I think we should be balanced. Being grateful sometimes, they actually place you down without actually giving you more. So after a while, I resigned. 6 months, I was crying and asking questions. I said, what have I done? I'm working in this company. I started a company, the Keynote brand that you know. And I was like, what am I actually even doing here? It was a company my husband had set up by name, but there was nothing he was doing with it. He had moved into another company. And I said, okay, let me start some human resource work. I was doing a bit of some work. And I said, no, I need to go back to the law firm and beg them that they should take me back. But I said, well, that would be so shameful. After resigning, you tell them, please take me back. So I said, okay, no problem. I heard there was a program in my church, and that's where the spiritual part comes. There was a program, they were doing a 3-day retreat. I'm a Catholic, not Pentecostal. 3-day retreat. I said, God, I'm going to go there. I'm going to pray. I'm going to cry to the Lord and tell him this is my pain. I got there. I didn't do anything. For 3 good days, all I was telling God was, I want to do this business. I want to be successful. I think I like it because I'm actually hiring people. I'm seeing the impact in their lives. I want to do this, but I want to be very, very successful. And I kept on doing that. By the 3rd day, I had peace in my heart, and I went back to work. I had just 2-3 people in the company, working at the boys' quarter in one company. My husband had just paid once for a small space in Lekki, and I started. And when I continued, and I noticed that I was just first I was fearless. I was having a lot of courage. I was knocking on the doors of all the top banks, knocking on the doors of all the top multinationals, fearless. And guess what? Everywhere I stepped my feet, I conquered. Every single one I stepped my feet for that entire year, I conquered. At a point, I said to my husband, I said, I'm doing some work for you. Give me some money. Let me have a decent place so that at least I have these clients that will come and take up see where I work. Because if you work for multinationals, the like of MTN, Airtel, they have to see a place that is befitting of what it is. So earlier on, I understood packaging. I understood looking good. I understood all those things. So he said, okay, no problems. I will get you a place. So he got me a place. So that's where sometimes some people, if you have spouses that support, it also helps. So I got that support, and I went on. And I started inviting clients. I said, oh, come, beautify the small space and everything. And they were giving me jobs. And I started to grow. Remember, he had helped me to pay for that rent. And I told myself, I said, if he has paid for that rent for 2 years, after 2 years, where will I get money from? Because I'm just starting. I said, anyway, God, you started this. Let me just continue. I just continued. Focus on the operational work. Just continue doing the work. And 2 years, 1.5 year passed, then the landlord came and said, we need to increase your rent. And the rent I'm talking about, even back then, was 4 million for 1 year, 2 million, 8 million for 2 years. And he says he wants to increase it to 5.5. And I was like, how much have I made that I'm going to be paying this kind of rent? And that's how I said, okay, no problem. But you see something, I was working. I kept on working. But that's one thing I didn't do. I didn't check. I was not looking at my bank account. There's something about life I have found out. If you don't chase money and you chase value and you chase being efficient, you actually get money. So by the time I was done, I came back. In fact, another funny story is I got pregnant again, even in the stress of all trying to build a company. And I was like, God, this is too much for me. In fact, I cried and I denied the pregnancy, to be truthful. For 4 good months, I told myself I was not pregnant. And that this job, I have prayed, I did 3 days dry fasting and all that. And why would God make me pregnant again? I said, what is happening? How can I be going to play companies to ask them for a job when I'm heavily pregnant? But do you know something? The money I made that year I was pregnant, in context, is the highest I've ever made. I made so much money, not only to pay for rent, I bought our head office in 2 years. So you understand that it's not about us all the time. It's about the grace. Once he blesses you, no one can take it away. Once he opens those doors, no one can close it. And I'm a living embodiment of God's grace. I continued working, continued growing the company, continued doing everything, and of course, defined the business, restructured the business, started adding more products. And that's another thing we should learn. Not when you have made money, you don't stop there. Because if I have stopped, this is 15 years down the line. If I have stopped, then most companies, after 5 years, they become extinct because they don't keep the monies they have made. They don't save. They don't plan for the future. And they don't innovate. So I've been innovating my company over and over and over again, adding more products, adding more service, adding more people, and we have grown across the 36 states of the Federation with a lot of... Say, wow. I do HR. If you understand HR, HR is service, recruitment, outsourcing, training, pre-assessment testing, and so many other services. And HR, yes. So when you have people outsourced, they are outsourced 300 to the 36 states of the Federation. It's simple. It's not so much of a big deal. The big deal is actually getting the briefs. So we have grown that large, and we have also infused technology in our business, whereby we can manage different portfolios from different places. So we have 6 offices, in Nigeria now, where we have physical presence with people and staff, and we are growing by the day. So that's really like a brief of my journey. And recently, we launched Almost Couch. So to date, I can tell you we have hired over 15,000 workers across Nigeria. We have also empowered over 25,000 people, youths, on employability training. This is a CSR initiative in conjunction with Microsoft, Nigerian Breweries, Nestle, and some other companies. We have done so many different jobs to make people have jobs and be empowered. I have mentored several women across board. But I actually also found a pain in mentoring women. And I think one of the first speakers mentioned that she has to know you for us to be able to give you value. Personally, I don't have time. And I'm sure she also doesn't have time. So how many people can I mentor one-on-one for growth? Because for me to mentor you, for you to grow, I have to sit with you. For me, I know what it is I need. It's not the type I see a lot of people do. You just start talking, glossing over. I will take your business. I will tear it apart. I will give you an information as to every single part of how that business will work. And if we have to change direction, we will change direction. So I don't do lip service mentoring, if I have to do mentoring. I would take your business as if I was the one running it, and I would look at it in a forensic way and restructure it. So because of I can't do that all the time, I decided to launch the Almost Couch. Almost Couch is a talk show, and I'm not a media person. And as I've mentioned to you, I don't like talking, which is strange. I don't like media. But I felt that it's a place and an opportunity for me to tell women, have women sit on this couch, like Mariah can sit on the couch, Grace can sit, Tokwe can sit, Tiwa can sit on the couch, and talk about their own life journey, just as I've told you. Because one thing you should know is, if you hear people's story, you know that it's possible. I am a woman who believes that everything is possible. Even if you don't get it now, you may not, even if you don't get it now, you will get it eventually, as long as you keep at it. And some of you who have started businesses and you feel, oh, this client didn't listen to me, this client didn't give me, please trust me. We've had terrible times. There are so many times I wanted to give up in this business I'm talking about. I enjoy it and I love it. And that's why they say have a passion for it, because it will sustain you in those very terrible days. In fact, there are some days I'm like, what am I doing? Hey, the money is okay. I even said if I make 1 million, I'll be okay. Now I've even reached another crazy figure and I'm still here, I'm still toiling. What is the, you talk to yourself, but you see something, you remember that you feed a lot of people. Your being there creates a lot of impact, and you're already accustomed to a certain lifestyle. If you don't continue at it, you will actually go into depression when you start losing your money. And another thing, as a business owner, there's something you should know. I know a lot of people say, oh, after a while, put structures. Yes, I'm a HR person. I can tell you, put structure, it works. And that's why I can take some of the vacations I'm now currently taking. I never used to take them before. I used to just walk, and kill myself. But now I'm taking those vacations. Put structure in your business, no matter how small, but also make sure you are managing the funds. You are looking at where the money is going to. Make sure you are putting in a keen eye, and don't even give anybody the authority to sign off money for you. I still hold that mantle. You cannot have access to any of our bank accounts. Nobody does apart from myself. So those are the things, so that's some of the things that you should be very, very, very key that you must pay attention to. Then another thing you guys need to take note of is, in business, we always have issues with finances. And I'm sure a lot of you may have had experience with your finances and you didn't know what to do. I had major problems in my finances. One of it was what? I was paying, if you notice, I talked about paying attention to the operational part, paying attention to delivering quality service, paying attention to the employee, but I didn't look at the finances. When I mean I didn't look at the finances, I knew the money was going into the bank account because I work with corporates, they won't pay an individual, so I wasn't losing money. But I wasn't checking the financial structure of the business. Financial structure here, I'm talking about the things you pay to FRS, LRS, those tax authorities. Working in Lagos is the craziest thing you can have to find. They won't look for you for the first 2, 3, 4 years where you are toiling and suffering and all that. By the time you just bring out your head small, they will finish you. And that happened to me even the first 2 years of the business. Because, I mentioned that the company actually was in existence by name. But when you just register a name and you don't do any business with it. I didn't know that if you register a business and you don't do anything with it and you don't start, like you say zero tax, if you just file something, it'll be an issue. So you can imagine starting a business with zero income, zero balance sheet, and hearing in 2 years that you have a bill of 9 million. And I'm like, 9 million? Where does it come from? Where is it coming from? I've not worked. Where am I owing? If you haven't worked, what are you owing? And trust me, the Lagos state government is something, it would tell you, they will make very good excuses and give you all the paperwork that will prove that that is something that you must pay. So what did I do? At the point I wanted to close the business because I said I've just started. But later I said no, they would not get me out of this business. I will fight it headlong. So we did a lot of negotiation talking, reduced the fees, and of course started paying instrumentally. And that was, I was able to pay off. So that's something I know that is very critical that you will need to look out in your business too. So I will go straight to who is a limitless woman. We've talked about it, and I've used my own life story to tell you how a limitless woman can be. It means that even if you're having the problems, the issues, the family, the husband, you can still want more. You can still do more. You can still be more. And of course, the greatest thing you can use, just as I've said, is grace. And where does grace come from? From God. My business, and I'm still stressing, your story and your journey may be different. My own story and my journey is my story. I will not change it for anybody. Anywhere I stand at a podium, I will tell you that God blessed my business, and can never change that. And that is where I am today. So you can have a zero-digit business, because that's where I started. I mean, I've told you how I started, so it's obvious that it was a zero-digit business. From zero-digit business, and now you'll be on a 10-digit business, 11 and 12. And we're hoping we'll get to 12, 13, 14 very soon. So a limitless woman, I would just say this definition, is a woman, is someone who defies stereotypes and expectation and believes in her own potential to achieve anything she sets her mind to. Can you see that definition? For me, I don't think I even embodied this at the beginning. One person I know that is a true example of this is Grace Ofori. Because I was also being supported, and I was also not looking to make so much money from the beginning. My business plan has changed over 7 times since I started the business. I didn't even have a business plan. So you understand what I'm saying? So if you look at this definition, it works with somebody with stereotypes. Stereotype meaning that she came from a humble beginning, and people will say, oh, if you are coming from a humble beginning, you will not be able to make money. No, it's not true. Anybody can be anything. You just have to put your mind to it. You just have to be focused. You have to be fearless. Then, of course, ultimately, you have to dedicate it to God. Hard work always pays. Be consistent in giving service, quality service, and value. Yes, that's one thing I need to reiterate. I don't sell service. I don't sell anything. I sell value. When I got into that business, the business I'm talking about, which I finished talking about, the Keynote business, there were a lot of, in fact, it is a male-dominated, you'll be surprised that HR is a male-dominated place when it comes to business. When I was there, I'm sure you've heard about Philip Consulting. They are like, when I started, they were 30 years, and I was just starting year 1. Some of them were 20 years, and I was in year 1. So just imagine that. If you imagine that every business you have, any business in Nigeria, people are already there. But guess what? If you go fearless, but there's something I did for myself, I did not look at them. Because I knew if I look at them, the fear of them being in existence, or trying to mimic them, or trying to copy them, I know I will fail. I refused to look at them. I pushed them aside and said to myself that I would do it my own way. And my own way was what I combed, did research. And please, knowledge is very key. You don't have to go to Harvard Business School to get it. You don't have to go to Harvard Business School to get it. You can actually just get it from your own research. And getting the information from your own research, you can empower yourself. They're telling me the time is up, and that's why I'm a bit... so let me move on. So once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. Does that make sense to you? Once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. What limits us mostly is fear. What we do, the unknown. So, of course, the limitless woman in career and business, she's not afraid to take up leadership roles, so you go for it. Let me tell you, if somebody who says, I can do it, and the person who says, I cannot do it, is the fact that one has more courage. The one who says they can do it may not even be able to do it as good as you. So you do it and you learn doing it. She asks for what she wants and what she's worth. And you can see that's why you see some designers are charging 3 million, some designers are charging 100,000 for the same thing. It's because she knows she has value. So you must be able to price right. Then she has work-life balance. It means your family is okay, your children are okay, your husband is okay, the office is okay, your personal life is okay. And please, it means you can have it all. I am one person that believes you can have it all. And I'm a living example of I have it all. And it was not by my power, but by the grace of God. Then quickly, the operational issues. I'm not going to go too much in this. I know Grace Ofure wanted me to talk on this. Some of the operational issues in business, which you have to please take note of, is having the right employees. Having the right employees. Without employees, all these things we are talking about, nobody runs a business on their own. Am I correct? You run with employees. So please, even if you have to pay a premium for them, please hire the right employees. Then financial record keeping. I've already given an example of what happened to me with poor record keeping and what it cost me. Then managing your operational costs. You can make so much money, even in hundreds of millions, but if your cost and your profits are the same, it's actually zero. So it's not something that I can overemphasize. The limitless woman, my definition of the limitless woman is not just a concept. It is a reality. It means it can happen. We can become anything we choose to be if we believe. Do we believe? Yes. Thank you very much for having me, and thank you.